Hi VC, I'm Braido, and I thought I'd do the 2023 vinyl tag here before it was too late, and it's probably too late already. Not sure if people are still doing them. It's closing in at the end of January here, so thought I'd do one anyway. Really enjoyed all the videos that I've seen, so here's my contribution to that. So, favorite new release of 2022 was Wet Leg. Really like this album. Came up on my YouTube, and the algorithm was right on this one. Kind of new wave, post-punk, I don't know what you call it, but I really liked it. That's Wet Leg. See if I can get that without the glare, sorry. First video. And then favorite, or the last artist that I saw live was Billy Idol. And I saw Idol in Vegas 2 years ago now, because of the pandemic and everything. And I've seen him quite a few times over the years, and I have a bunch of his concert tickets in there, different gigs that I've gone to. It's a 3-disc album, and yeah, this does his live show justice. It's very, very good. I would recommend this to anybody, and it captures his live sound really well. So if you like Steve Stevens and Billy Idol, it's a great live album. And I hate to do this, but for being truthful, the first album was their best, going back to Idol, but with his band Generation X. So, huge Generation X fan, even more so than Billy Idol. Generation X was a punk band in London, part of the Bromley contingent. This one here is a top loader original UK pressing. This is my Canadian reissue that I bought when I was 12 or 13. This is a promo copy. And then I bought the box set, and there's 3 discs in here. Really great box set. And a really great debut album, in my opinion. And then we have a hat trick, which if you're Canadian, you know what a hat trick is in hockey. That's 3 goals. And they sure scored on these, so we got, you can tell by my age, there's going to be some Led Zeppelin. So here you go. Led Zeppelin 1. This is a German pressing. Sounds really great. Canadian pressing. Gatefold. And then I have a Japanese pressing of Led Zeppelin 3. And I go back and forth. You know, people ask me, what's your favorite Zeppelin album? And it used to be, for the longest time, it was 1. And then it went to 3. And right now it's 2. And tomorrow it'll probably, I don't know, Physical Graffiti or something. It's always changing. And starts and ends with the same letter. I'm going to show an album that I've always enjoyed my whole life, which is Alba Nova. It's kind of cheesy, but I like it. Alba Nova went on to write some songs for Bon Jovi and some other artists. There's the label there. Big song off here was Fantasy, but honestly the whole album's really good. It's one that you can put on and just listen to it right through. Canadian guy. And then same year as I was born, 1970, so we got Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. I really like Miles Davis. I grew up playing the trumpet, and so I have a bunch of Miles Davis, and this was my favorite Miles Davis album for the longest time, but it probably still is, to be honest. And then I was happy to see this question, because this album here, I've commented on lots of VC members in the comments, you know, hey, what should we check out? And I'd always say this album here. And this next album I'm going to show you, I I discovered off of Hollis James. He has or had or not a podcast, a YouTube channel called Pop Culture Graveyard, and it was I really enjoyed it. And he recommended Silverhead. I need to keep the glare out of there. Really, really like this album. Definitely my favorite new album of 2022. Long-Legged Lisa, Rolling with My Baby, Rock and Roll. It's all so good. I can't believe that I had never heard this up until when Hollis had recommended it on his. And then he played a little bit of it, or did he? Maybe he just recommended it, and then I went and checked it out on YouTube. But it's a German pressing. Sounds really great. And I will be buying more Silverhead. It's the only album I own so far, but I'm going to get their other stuff as well. And then most listened to artist. My favorite artist is The Faces. Faces was a band 60s and 70s, late 60s, early 70s. There was a time when they said The Faces at the end of their kind of career there was doing the Stones better than the Stones. It's not true, but it's funny. Of course, they stole Ronnie Wood from The Faces. And I didn't grab my ooh la la. Oh well. But yeah, I really like The Faces. There was a time when Rod Stewart was actually cool. It's true. Hard to believe, but true. So yeah, Australian band. I mean, I could show AC/DC like everyone else, Men Without Hats, but I really like this cheesy 80s rock, Kings of the Sun they're called. And my high school band, we played a couple of these tunes, Medicine Man and of course Serpentine. You'd probably recognize that one if you brought it up, but not very well known in Canada. Somehow we heard of them, and we played the crap out of this album. And this is another album that I can put on, and I enjoy every song. RCA Victor label. And my wife enjoys it too, actually, which is really nice. When we're driving in the car. A record people would be surprised that I bought. So this one showed up on my algorithm as well on YouTube. And the cover right away, I went, that is so cool. I love the cover. So I went and listened to it on YouTube. And went, yep, that's pretty cool, pretty different than what I normally listen to. I should buy that, and I'm not disappointed. I've been listening to it quite a bit. And yeah. I wouldn't even know how to describe the music, but happy to find that one. And then artist I'm complete on. I could have grabbed Zeppelin, or I don't know, you could have grabbed Greta Van Fleet too, but I grabbed Dirty Honey. It's just the first one that came into my mind, and I really like these guys. To me, they're the best new rock band out there in the last, I don't know how many years, but yeah, killer stuff. Love the vocalist. Vocalist sounds a lot like the Canadian vocalist from a band called Prism. Good stuff. Okay, great run of 3 albums. And I'm a product of the 80s, so we're going to show some Guns. GNR, Guns N' Roses. There's their first album. Their second album, Lies. Got the band cover when I was a kid, and then Use Your Illusions 1. So, you know, when Appetite came out at the time, this was, I mean, I was there, I lived it, it was huge, such a big album. And then Lies came out, and it was so different with the acoustic stuff and the cover, you know, it was just, yeah, it was awesome. And then Use Your Illusions came out, and it was different again, right? November Rain, that kind of stuff. So they did three three pretty cool. I mean, it all sounds like Guns N' Roses, of course, but they all were pretty different from each other. They didn't just try to make Appetite of Destruction over again, which was nice. There's a lot of cookie cutter crap in the 80s. Lots of good stuff too, but and then an 80s soundtrack, and I picked Some Kind of Wonderful because I like post-punk, I like new wave, I like everything, but you know, I could have picked any of the John Hughes soundtracks or movies, right? Pretty in Pink or Breakfast Club, of course. You know, then there's Lost Boys, and I have Eddie and the Cruisers and Streets of Fire. There's a lot of good 80s soundtracks, but I picked this one because it is different, and there's not even really a hit on here, but it's really good. If you like new wave or you like post-punk or whatever, I think you'd like this one, and it would be something different than you've probably normally would pick for some 80s soundtrack. And then here's a artist that we lost in 2022, and his name's Eric Mercury. This album is Electric Black Man. I think it came out in '69. He does a version of Donovan's Hurdy Gurdy Man on here that's killer, but honestly the whole album's really, really good. Yeah, just a really great album. And unfortunately he passed away in 2022. Lately. That one's worth buying. And then disappointing. This was very disappointing because I like this artist so much and I like this album so much. And I only ever owned it on, like, bought it off YouTube or iTunes back in the day. So saw it on vinyl, but when things are too good to be true, they're too good to be true. And this was on sale for, yeah, like $12, $13, which is extremely cheap in Canada. But it was also at a discount store, like a warehouse store, and they must have got like a shipment of returns that they bought from somebody, because this sounds like crap. It's just awful. And I'm not a picky guy. I don't, you know, class myself as an audiophile or whatever, but this album sounds like crap. Really too bad. And a Grail, I really like LP. Lost on You is the album, and there's some really unique kind of music on here. She even does some whistling, and but it works, and she's a great artist. So these go for stupid money, so I never thought I'd own one, but I got talking to a guy who had one. He was a really great dude, and he could tell how much I liked this artist and wanted this album, and I still paid a lot for it, but he gave me for such a killer deal compared to what they're going for on Discogs. So very thankful from that, and thank you for that there, Henry. Appreciate it. And then this is a cool one. This one's kind of special to me as well because this came out of my godmother's collection. So it's a space themed album, of course. It's a compilation album. Came out in '76, so not '77 like Star Wars, but I guess they were still doing that even then. But yeah, compilation album from my godmother, and she gave me all her records this past year, which I'm very thankful for because she had great taste in music. There's tons of Cream and Janis Joplin, the Rolling Stones, just really killer stuff. So space themed. And then a gift. And my son went to France. He went to see my sister, who's a professional opera singer in France, Amber Braido. And so he went to see my sister, and he picked these up for me. So he picked, and I love rockabilly, so he picked me up this Ray Campy, which is signed, autographed. He picked me up this Who album. He knows I like the Who, and then when he saw this, he went, I got to get that for my dad because I also collect arcade games from the 80s, so full-size arcade games. And then he got me the Smithereens because he knows I like new wave, post-punk as well. And I'm very thankful for these albums. My son plays in our small little town. He plays at the highest level of hockey here as a young man. And so it's full contact hockey. There's fighting, there's hitting. You know, there's no out of bounds in hockey. and he had to make a pass, he had to take a hit in a certain place. So to make the pass, he had to take the hit. And when he took the hit, he tried to roll off the guy, and he separated his shoulder. So the night before he left for Europe, he was in the hospital. You know, we were all there, of course. And then he packs these around for me with a separated shoulder all through Europe to bring him home. So just very special. And then an album from 1973. I love Tower of Power. I saw TOP in Florida years and years ago, and I really like all the horns and everything, of course, and how funky it is. Great stuff. And then, oh, I forgot to show my non-vinyl purchase, which is my Stratocaster. This is a 50s reissue, road worn. Looks kind of pink in there, but it's Fiesta red. And yeah. So anyway, that's my contribution to the 2023 vinyl tag. Where's the 2022 vinyl tag? No, it must be 2023. I don't know how you guys do that. You're talking about the year before. So anyway, hope you enjoy it. Sorry for the bad quality, for all the bad lighting and everything with the reflections. Yeah, I'm not sure I'll do any more videos, but thought I'd throw this up because I really enjoy a lot of your guys' videos, especially Hollis James, Pop Culture Graveyard. Hope Hollis comes back. I really enjoy Omaha Introvert. Great channel. Love it. Love how she talks about it, music, and I have a lot of the same interests as her. And then there's that other guy. Wears a hat. Became a real wanker. Just kidding. I love you, Mazzy. Okay, cheers.